Hello and welcome to Step by Step, a podcast by Future Commerce presented by Omnisend. Welcome to Season 4 of Step by Step. You are listening to Episode 1 of 4. Today, it is tougher than ever to attract an online shopper. It really feels like everywhere you turn, you have to spend more money to acquire the customer, then more money to earn back their loyalty, to bring them back to the website. How do the big brands do it? How can a startup compete? How do direct-to-consumer brands get their feet under them when there's so many channels for customers today? And how do you make sense of all those channels? That's what this podcast is all about. If you're an independent retailer, if you're an e-commerce startup, if you're in direct-to-consumer, or you're a business that's bootstrapped, that has no intent to exit, if you fall into any of those categories, this podcast series is for you. In this 4-part series, we're speaking with the founders of small and medium-sized e-commerce brands to help you craft the ultimate multi-channel customer journey to help leverage automation and take your marketing to the next level. You're going to acquire some customers, and we're going to teach you how. We're going to take you from zero to hero, step by step. Joining us today on the first episode of Season 4 of Step by Step is Rytis Lauris. Rytis is the founder and CEO of Omnisend, and he's going to tell us how a DTC brand can compete with an established brand. It's a question that I've had for a long time. How do you fulfill on every customer expectation in the modern age and do it when you're just getting started? It's a fascinating listen. I can't wait for you to hear it. So let's join Rytis as he teaches us how DTC can stand toe-to-toe with established brands, step by step. Today with us is the CEO and co-founder of Omnisend, who is helping host this series, Mr. Rytis Lauris. Welcome to the show.
Hey, pleasure to be here and really great to talk to your listeners.
Well, thank you. And we are going to answer a bunch of burning questions that I know businesses of all sizes have today. I mean, one of which is how can you use marketing automation to get more done with less? That's something we talk about all the time. How can you keep customers coming back for more? And how can you retain customers? Those are things that I think Omnisend has a particular view in the world, particular viewpoint about. And I don't want to take for granted that our listeners know who you are or what Omnisend is. So maybe you can give us a little bit of insight into both of those questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So, personally myself, you have already introduced. I'm co-founder and CEO of Omnisend, and I'm entrepreneur myself. So, I was running one another business since I was 21, so for more than 15 years already. And never actually was employed. So now Omnisend provides a service and help earn money and run their business for people like myself. So that's what makes me super happy. And what Omnisend is, so we are a marketing automation tool built for e-commerce. So anyone who's selling online, we help you to communicate with your customers while sending more relevant messages on the right time, right messages to your customers with email, SMS, web push notifications. So using different channels to better communicate with your customers.
And a longtime partner of Future Commerce. Thank you. We've loved working with you. The tool is super cool, and just really applaud what you've been able to accomplish as a part of your business.
Likewise, Brian. It's really great pleasure to work with you guys, and we strongly believe in the power of cooperation. So that's really great to work with you, and thanks for kind words.
There's an interesting thing that we keep hearing about, which is, this 2020 has been challenging for businesses everywhere. But in particular, we've seen the growth of e-commerce, but the overall sort of troubles in retail. I'm curious, from your vantage point, what do you think the biggest challenge is that merchants face today in 2020? And, maybe by way of which, maybe that takes you into, what can we automate to overcome some of those challenges?
Yeah, that's true. So 2020 is just absolutely unusual, and that's a fact. And I believe 2021 will be similarly challenging year for everybody. Doesn't matter where you are actually based. So it's a global challenge. And talking about merchants or e-commerce businesses or online e-commerce businesses. So I would say there are three main challenges. First one is for already existing businesses, the supply chains. The supply chains are broken at some time, and this is the challenges which already established e-commerce businesses are still facing. They used to face it like at the very beginning of 2020. That probably was the peak, but as currently, once we're recording, our world is going into somewhere third wave, somewhere second wave, like third wave in the United States, second wave in Europe. So definitely there will be more challenges like this, that you have customers, you have people who are willing to buy from you, but you don't have what to sell. So probably this is the first big challenge. The second big challenge is really demand. For certain categories, the demand just got extremely down. Those who are serving all the hospitality industry, those who are serving travel. Let's say we have some customers who reached out to us and say, look, we are producing backpacks for travelers. Our turnaround went down like dramatically. So this is probably the second challenge. Not everyone is facing, but there's still a big group of those. And then we saw like this year we have account freeze like at the record high rates. Once some other customers are really growing because we're selling online and e-commerce is growing, but at the same time we have the record high account freeze attempts. That means that our customers are just freezing the account. They're not canceling, they're not going out of business, but they are pausing it. So this is the second challenge. And the third challenge I would see is really what you have mentioned already a bit. So a lot of traditional retailers are only now finally coming online, or they are emphasizing their online presence much more comparing to what they used to do. So definitely this finally transformation from offline retail, from standard retail, old school retail is happening currently. Before the COVID, I was estimating that it's going to happen in 7 to 10 years. So now it's being super accelerated, and it's going to happen in the upcoming like 2 to 3 years. So that's what I'm thrilled to see, but at the same time, it's definitely a challenge for a chunk of those who are selling online.
Those are quite a set of challenges, my goodness. And some of them are opportunities. Some of them are, things that have to be overcome. And I think that, looking ahead and looking at, what we've seen from Omnisend and other tools in different spaces, do you see automation being a way to help address some of these issues? Like, for instance, the demand issue, being able to sort of spark up additional demand or find additional audiences or markets, or just the growth online. Like, do you find automation is going to be a solution for some of these things?
Yeah, definitely. It will be, and it is. So mainly for two reasons here. First one is, as in times of uncertainty from a business perspective, what happens, you want to be more conscious about your spendings and about your expenses. So definitely automation is what allows you to eliminate or minimize the need of manpower. And it's much more predictable. The cost for the tools are not going up that much, and you can cancel the tool at any point, and it's much easier comparing to like firing people. So that's the first thing where automation helps a lot. And second, you were asking about demand. Can it increase demand? So what we see from the customers or consumers, those who are buying from our customers, that during crisis, and this crisis is not an exception, people are willing more to buy from the brands they trust and they know. What does that mean? That communicating with your existing customer base, it's really what helps you increase and grow, or at least keep the same demand level. It's becoming more and more difficult to attract new customers, but definitely retention is where you have to focus on. And marketing automation mainly is being used to retain your customers and to communicate with your existing customers base.
I think that there's been a lot of conversation around attracting new customers. Retention is often heralded as a great place to make some investments because you don't have to reacquire another customer or spend money to acquire a new customer, but you do spend money. right? To have tools that accomplish automation. There's a wealth of platforms that say that they do this. Without overselling OmniSend, you really focus on 3 types of engagements with the customer, and that's email, SMS, and notifications. Is that really all you need to have that sort of long recapture of the customer interest and have a relationship with the customer over a lifetime, or is this just the beginning?
Yeah. So again, those are channels kind of the most convenient now and the most effective now. And there might be more emerging channels, as SMS was kind of seemed to be dead 5 years ago. And it was kind of a super spammy channel, and there was no way to actually properly opt out and opt in to that channel. And now it's kind of becoming more and more popular. The same with push notifications. So we can really cover like all of those channels like one by one. But what I want to say that like as just to react to what you said, that you have to both invest into retention and like pay for tools, pay for channels, for sending messages, as well as like for acquire new customers. But I would like to emphasize what you have mentioned as well, like reacquire customers. So it's way cheaper. It's way more cost effective once you communicate with your existing customers and once you have the permission from your customers to do that, comparing to trying to require your customers through like public channels. Let's call them public channels: Facebook ads, Google ads, etc. So it's kind of way cheaper, like many times cheaper. That's why you have to focus more on really retaining your customers with channels which are meant to retain customers, not to acquire new ones. It's a first thing, and definitely those 3 channels: email, text messages, and web push notifications, which we are working on, are the most effective. And I'm super confident to tell that because we have deprecated 2 other channels which we had. It was WhatsApp and it was Facebook Messenger, but we have discontinued supporting that because we saw those channels are not anyway closely effective to those 3 main channels for those who do sell online for e-commerce marketing purposes. So definitely email, text messages, and push are the most effective channels. And I have some stats, so maybe it could be interesting for the listeners. I can share some like let's say SMS is a channel. So average click rate, what we don't see open rates due to technical limitations here, but like average click rate throughout our base is like almost 15%, and the conversion rate is more than 2%. So it has increased from 10% to 15% in 1 year, 2020 compared to 2019. So that's a huge uplift. And comparing to, let's say, email campaigns, so average open rate of a campaign is somewhere around like 10%. So definitely SMS is more effective. That's great, and it's growing. The effectiveness is growing, and what's good that the list of subscribers are growing, which usually was the biggest challenge for the businesses, all those who sell online and marketers, that they have a huge subscriber list of email subscribers, but very tiny list of SMS subscribers and very tiny list of web push notification subscribers. So now businesses are kind of more and more working equally to grow their subscriber base across different channels, and that's why they get better and better results from those different channels. And of course, combining those channels on a single automations and on customer lifecycle journey, it's really what drives the best results.
It's a combination of channels. Certainly, there's no one channel that should be the center of all of the activity, but there does seem to be a lot of interest in SMS right now. I'm curious what you think is what would you attribute the success of SMS adoption when so many folks were saying that SMS shouldn't be used for marketing purposes just 4 or 5 years ago? Are customers just more open to it now?
So much more confidence in ability to unsubscribe, and I think this is the key thing. What has changed 4 or 5 years ago, it was technically no way to really unsubscribe, and it was really being used as a spam channel. Once you just acquire a list of phone numbers and you just start sending messages for the customers or for the receivers, which have no clue from whom they are receiving those messages, and they have never subscribed. So once it has been converted to be used more like an email where you opt in, and it has been regulated throughout the world that just send text messages without the permission to receive is illegal. So regulation, I would say, really helped in this case. Because customers are expressing proactively that, yes, I want to communicate. I want you as a brand, as a store, to communicate with me, and I'm okay to do it via SMS. It's the first thing. And the second thing is that technical abilities, like, in the United States and Canada, you just reply stop, and that's how you subscribe. In all other countries, let's say at Omnisend, we mandatory put the unsubscribe link in each and every text message you send out. So for end customer, for consumers, so easy to unsubscribe. So much more confident in leaving phone number for you as a marketer, for you as a brand.
Future Commerce is brought to you by Omnisend. Omnisend is a powerful e-commerce tailored email and SMS marketing automation platform. It is built to give nimble teams the ability to drive more revenue without increasing their workload. That's right. You have a one-click e-commerce stack integration, pre-built workflows, and intuitive segmentation. And that makes it easy to get up and running without diving into the gritty details. That is, unless you want to. It is a powerful platform for businesses of all sizes. Find out why Duke Cannon, Toac Chocolate, and 50,000 other high-growth e-commerce brands choose Omnisend to give them a shortcut to revenue growth and grow their business while putting it on autopilot. Find out today what Omnisend can do for you. Go to omnisend.com/futurecommerce. That's omnisend.com/futurecommerce. Put your marketing automation to work and connect with your customers in every channel with Omnisend. Visit them at omnisend.com/futurecommerce.
Something you said a little earlier that I want to come back to as well, which was that, you said reacquiring customers and retaining customers is sort of absolutely key. This makes me think customer lifetime value is really where you're headed with this. And so, as we look at, there's in different industries and so on, how would you go about measuring customer lifetime value, and what you've brought up a bunch of different channels that are good for retaining and reacquiring customers. How would you say they play into that sort of like larger view of the customer?
Yeah, that's like great question. I like those questions. So I kind of so lifetime value is just a monetary expression of what you expect to earn from one specific particular customer or average customer of your business, so which is important. But I would say kind of for a marketer, what is even more important, which is like attached to lifetime value, is life cycle of your customer. So what does your customer actually do while he or she is with your brand? So once, let's say, customer lifetime value is, let's say, $1,000. So, and it's being spent in 5 purchases throughout 12 months or 24 months. So what does actually that happen from the moment when your potential customer lands to your website for the first time till the time when he or she actually never gets back, which usually happens. Sometimes it can happen after 10 years, but I mean, the customers change, and that turnaround exists. So life cycle is very important. I would say, and that's what we really advocate here at Omnisend, and Varsel and myself, I do that as well, that instead of us marketers, instead of thinking in campaigns, we have to think in customer life cycle. So it's not me who wants to sell something. It's what my customer, that individual customer, wants to hear from me now. And that's where automation gets in as well. That automation is the only effective way is actually to listen to the signals which your customers are sending and then send marketing messages on the right time because you just received the signal that your customer is interested in something. And that's how you personalize the content. That's how you make your messages much more relevant for the customers. And then open rates like boost, like conversion rate boost, because those messages are much better received by your customers.
This is, I think this is the core of what every marketer is looking for. And I think the question always comes back to, especially in small and medium-sized businesses, how can you be truly adept at marketing and speaking one-to-one with a customer when you wear so many hats or when you balance so many things? It's one thing if all you do is think about full-time, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but the idea that if that's all you could think about is how you create and craft the right message for the right customer at the right time and put it into a platform that automates all of that, certainly that's it's possible. The capabilities out there are plenty of ways that we've done that over the last 10 years as e-commerce has grown. But what if that isn't your full-time job? What if you have other things you have to do? How are you trying to solve for that when building a brand new automation platform? Because someone could say, hey, I have tools that do this today. I also have people that I pay to plug that stuff into those tools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very good question. So, once anyone is kind of launching the business, so actually it's where the automation could help, and we see nowadays a lot of people who are like very small, very, very nimble, very tiny even teams, which are launching and running and growing great businesses. And probably the best example is like the boost of Shopify and like explosion of how many, like there are millions of online stores there, which you could not imagine, like again, 5 or 10 years ago. That everyone could start their business as a side hustle, maybe initially, that a lot of them become successful, and that's what they convert into their lifestyle business, or maybe even the big companies. And this is where actually automation helps a lot. And just a simple example: in order to prepare a proper email campaign, you need visuals, you need copy. You need maybe segment your customers. So of course you can send to entire subscribers, but at least copy and visuals you need, and you have to spend some time to send the campaign. But to launch automation, you need almost the same time to launch automation, and you do it once and you forget it. You just set and forget. And you sleep, and tools like Omnisend or similar to us, they do the job. You don't need to kind of every day, every week to run a new campaign. So of course, initially you invest a bit more of your time and maybe effort to launch those automations, but then you get like much better results. And the revenue being generated through automated messages like emails, text messages, web push notifications is like increasing dramatically. And we ran a bit of research about our customers. So in the past 12 months, like 26% of email conversions were generated by automated emails. Lift of this was year-over-year was huge as well. I mean, so it was around 90%. So automation is becoming more and more effective. And again, in some comparison, let's say campaign, like standard campaign, once you send manually, on average across our customer base, it has around 11% open rate. As like product abandonment has 51% open rate. Cart abandonment has 30% open rate, and browse abandonment has 26% open rate. And like post-purchase campaigns, we have 25% open rate, etc., etc. So, what does that mean? That you just automate throughout customer lifecycle. Once, starting with welcome, birthday greetings, abandonment, like browse product abandonments, post-purchase campaigns, customer reactivation campaigns, etc. So you invest a bit of time initially, and then you just forget and you just earn money. Well, tools are earning money for you while you are taking care of the rest, making the best product.
Man, it sounds like automation is like king here. Like the machines are taking over. My question there is, it's clear there are certain things where like automation makes a ton of sense, and it's resulting in a lot of really, really beneficial things for SMBs and even large businesses. But are there things that shouldn't be automated versus what should be automated versus what shouldn't be automated?
So I would say you should automate timing and segments to whom to send what. So that's what should be automated, at a high level. And what should not be automated is probably creativity, which whatever, copy, design, look and feel, what actually your brand, what your product, what your service stands for, how do you position yourselves, how do you communicate with your customers. So that's what could not be automated. Probably that's what I think.
Wow,
so that makes a ton of sense.
I have never heard a company that focuses so much on automation talk about not automating creativity. I love that, because I think that's the human piece of the story. And we're going to speak with so many people who have done this in this series. I think of Kaylin of Jiggy Puzzles, and how she's taken all of that wealth of creative, and she has created a way for her to continue to be in front of the customer while she is away developing new partnerships and developing new products and supporting artists. And so she's doing the things she wants to do, and not necessarily the things that a full-time marketer would have to do. I find that so fascinating.
Very, very good example. And kind of even there are more and more people like her in the market, and that's true. And even large companies are more and more operating like individuals. And one of examples, we have a customer like Unilever, which you would say, okay, Unilever is a giant corporation, probably like so bureaucratic, etc. But what they have done, they have launched like separate, like very autonomous D2C brands. And those D2C operations are being run by small, nimble teams. And they have a lot of autonomy. They make their own decisions. They operate. They have their separate profit loss, and then they make decisions where to invest time and money, etc. And they operate really as small teams of smaller businesses. So I believe this is just a trend which is going all the way from creative nomads to even large corporations, which are trying to decorporate themselves and start behaving more like getting closer to customers and to natural human behavior, and we're becoming humans again instead of being some kind of faceless corporations.
I was going to ask you, who is the ideal customer? It sounds like you've given two extremes there. It sounds like ideally it's somebody who is looking to, focus more on creative and less on, day-to-day sort of menial tasks, putting more into the marketing channel that can be, driven on a more intelligent schedule or more intelligent channel selection.
So that's true. And for us, how we define, like for Omnisend, like our ideal customers, those who are willing to get 80% results while putting 20% of effort. That's how we define internally. So we simplify things. We bring the value, but of course, if you want to accomplish 100% of the results, so hire hire data analysts, go with complicated tools, and then that's what you can do for sure. But yeah, our target is those who always have not enough time to do everything, and they're okay of getting like 80% of like potential results, like based on the data we have about their business, about their customers, and the best practices we collect throughout our customer base, and then codify and bring into a product.
Regis, let me ask you a question. So you're a founder and you've worked in startups. And so I was curious, what challenges do your customers, particularly your SMB customers, and the startups face? What is similar? What is dissimilar for the challenges that you're facing versus some of the ones that some of your customers are facing?
Yeah, so that's probably, running or starting any business, there are a lot of similarities here, and that's for sure. And of course, once talking about, so probably like from the business side, we have a lot of different similar challenges. So, and probably the key challenge is really finding product market fit. If you are building something unique, so really to find who is willing to use your product. Is there a need in the market for the product or service you're offering? So I would say this is probably the biggest challenge which any business has to overcome at the initial phase. If we're talking about marketing, so probably again retention is that huge similarity. As for our customers who are e-commerce businesses, as they have already emphasized, like it's way cheaper to retain existing customers comparing to acquire new ones. For us as a software as a service business, as a SaaS business, it's exactly the same. We really love seeing our customers spending years and years with our platform instead of trying to acquire new ones every month while losing the old ones. So kind of focus on existing customer base and their retention and their repeated purchase. I believe that's a huge similarity as well. And personally myself, I believe that this is a huge potential success factor for the future. Just have happy customers and solve their either problems if you're serving businesses, or like bring them some joy if you are selling for end customers. And maybe you're selling something which is creating some joy for them, which actually what makes them smile.
Wow. Okay. Making people smile through more automation. I love this idea. Brian, we have a lot of ground we're going to cover in this series. What are some of the other questions that you anticipate that we'll be answering with more interviews here?
Yeah, I'm super excited. Obviously, we're going to be talking a lot about how to use automation to get more done with less. And I'm really excited, looking ahead, like you mentioned, to Jiggy and Toic Chocolate and, a bunch of other merchants that I think are going to have really, really, really cool things to say, naked and famous. We are also going to ask questions like, how do you build a marketing budget while maintaining a healthy margin? How and when should a startup partner with agencies or consultants? And how can I retain my existing customers and keep them coming back for more? These are questions and many more like them that we're going to be diving into with just an incredible set of merchants. And I'm really looking forward to these conversations.
Regis, I will give you the last word. Any other thoughts or advice that you might have for listeners who are embarking in this journey for the first time, or are part of a new initiative inside of their larger organization who, are trying to get more done with less?
Start small, I would say, for those who are starting, and then grow from there. I've seen kind of many times. Doesn't matter if it's e-commerce or other kind of businesses. Doesn't matter if it's about launching a product or starting marketing campaigns, automating things. Human being, we convert it into very, very huge initiatives or huge projects. So I'm a huge fan of iterative approach, of agile approach. So you just start doing things, start small, and then you take from there, and you learn a lot of lessons down the road. and each other step you make brings you to closer to the dream, whatever you want to launch and to accomplish.
Well said. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rytis, for joining us. Thank you for starting on this journey. This series is going to be amazing. It'll be such a great time to hear from businesses of all sizes that are learning how to do more with less. Well, thank you so much for Rytis to join us. And thank you for listening and getting started on this 4-part series. I want to know, what are you doing to automate the next level of your business? How are you going to engage with customers and do more with less? Drop me a line. Let me know how you're doing that at hello@futurecommerce.fm. If you want more step-by-step, this is the 4th season. You can go back and listen through the whole of the archives by visiting futurecommerce.fm/step-by-step. And as always, we want to thank our sponsor, our partner in Omnisend, who is helping you take your automation to the next level. I want you to give them a visit and get your marketing on autopilot. Do more with less, and you can do that right now by visiting omnisend.com/futurecommerce. That's omnisend.com/futurecommerce. Stay tuned for Tuesday's episode, our very next episode, where we sit down with Behzad Trinos, who is the chief denim otaku at Naked and Famous Jeans. It's going to be an awesome listen. I can't wait for you to check it out. Well, that's it. Thank you for listening to Step by Step, and we'll see you in episode 2 of season 4.